WLW Cincinnati. It's 5 o'clock and time for the latest news from WLW Communications Exchange. President Kennedy will visit that rare thing, a Republican city in the South, on Friday. Dallas has turned to the GOP in recent years, but the city is important in Mr. Kennedy's plans for next year, since he carried Texas by only 43,000 votes in 1960. Thursday, the president visited San Antonio, where the reception was warm, and Houston, where it was not so warm. He's spending the night in Fort Worth. A lawyer for James Hoffa says he'll appeal a ruling that bars him from practicing in a federal court in Nashville, Tennessee. The lawyer, Z.T. Osborne, was barred from the court when two judges ruled that he tried to bribe the jury in a Hoffa case coming up. The judges said Osborne admitted offering the bribe through a middleman, but Osborne asked the public to reserve judgment until he appeals. He also said the Teamsters president had nothing to do with the alleged bribe. The threat of a nationwide railroad strike is back now. The sleeping car porters...
I see where the Roman Catholics at the lunch for the president in Dallas, Texas today had a dispensation to eat sirloin steak, although it's Friday. A church spokesman said the president didn't need one. The Diocese of Fort Worth and Dallas granted the dispensation since most of the crowd expected at the Trade Mart for the lunches are non-Catholic. A spokesman said that the president didn't need the dispensation since he's commander-in-chief of the armed forces and church laws of fast and abstinence do not apply to the military. Plans to feed the president the biggest, juiciest steak in Texas fell through, though. Secret Service said that it'll choose the president's steak for him at random from the 2,000 that are cooked. This is a customary precaution wherever the president dines at public gatherings. In the farm news from Washington, a bipartisan Senate group is calling for Senate hearings on proposed new grade standards for wheat.
570 Radio in Fort Worth, WBAP.
Here is Morning Edition, complete news and weather coverage combining authoritative sources of WBAP and ABC. Brought to you by your 30 conveniently located Buddy's supermarkets, where your dollar buys more. And with every purchase, you get valuable Scotty savings stamps. Now, Morning Edition, Section 1.
Good morning, everyone. This is Norwood McClendon reporting. Fort Worth temperature 56 degrees, Dallas 55, skies are cloudy, and very light rain is reported at both cities. President and Mrs. Kennedy arrived in Fort Worth from Houston late last night to an enthusiastic reception from huge crowds and spent the night in Suite 850 at Hotel Texas downtown. The president scheduled two speeches in Fort Worth this morning, the first to the general public, the other at a Chamber of Commerce breakfast. For WBAP News, here is Jack Brown reporting from Hotel Texas.
There's a light rain falling in downtown Fort Worth, and that may cut down on the size of the turnout for President Kennedy's parking lot speech. Mr. Kennedy is scheduled to make a short public talk, maybe 10 minutes, at 8:50 this morning. Indications are he will make the speech even if it's raining. It's still not known whether or not the First Lady will accompany the President to the parking lot, which is just south of the hotel. Mr. Kennedy will speak from a platform mounted on a truck. The hotel's marquee says, "Welcome, Mr. President," and under it stand 6 young co-eds from Carter Riverside High School. The girls got up at 3:30 this morning and arrived at the hotel at 5. They've been standing there ever since. A crowd already is gathered outside the hotel's grand ballroom, maybe 200 persons, and they seem to be concerned about finding seats, or at least finding some good ones. The President's ballroom speech, which was an early sellout, will begin shortly after 9. We don't know what he'll talk about. From here, Mr. Kennedy will motorcade to Carswell Air Force Base, where Air Force One will be waiting to fly him to Dallas Love Field. 6,000 persons greeted Mr. Kennedy when he arrived at Carswell last night. Hundreds more lined the route to the Texas Hotel, and about 4,000 persons were waiting for him at the hotel. All were cheering. The President said his reception was wonderful. This is Jack Brown reporting from the Grand Ballroom at the Texas Hotel.
In San Antonio, Mr. Kennedy made a strong plea for an undiluted space program as he dedicated facilities at the School of Aerospace Medicine at Brooks Air Force Base. Later, he told an audience at a Houston appreciation dinner for Congressman Albert Thomas that Thomas, seeking re-election to a 15th term despite spinal cancer, is one of the nation's most remarkable congressmen. Mrs. Kennedy is proving an able campaigner as she charms the crowds with her smile, handshakes, and pleasantries. Last night, the First Lady addressed a Houston group of Latin American citizens in Spanish, telling them, "I'm very happy to be in the great state of Texas. I'm especially happy to be with you, who are part of the great Spanish tradition, which has contributed so much to Texas." Mrs. Kennedy is visiting the state for the first time. For President Kennedy's public speech this morning, the public is asked to enter the parking lot from 9th Street. No cars will be permitted on the lot itself. Police Chief Hightower says that 8th Street will be blocked off between Main and Commerce, and that those streets plus 9th will be stopped to traffic if the crowd overflows into them. The President is expected to speak for about 10 minutes at the outside gathering and about twice as long at the breakfast. State Democratic leaders say they hope to announce a sellout crowd for a $100 a plate dinner honoring Mr. Kennedy in Austin tonight. This is the only announced political function of the President's Texas tour. Governor Conley said yesterday ticket sales have far exceeded his earlier prediction of 2,500, and officials at Municipal Auditorium at Austin say 4,000 is about the maximum capacity for a sit-down dinner. Speaking there will be the President, Vice President Johnson, and Governor Connolly.
10 minutes past 7 o'clock, and 570 presents Southwest Weather with WBAP meteorologist Frank McHenry. Good morning, Mac.
Good morning, everyone. In the weather news this morning, we have a low-pressure area extending from the west side of the Great Lakes down through Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas into Old Mexico. Associated with this low-pressure area, a cold front running from west of Duluth down through the vicinity of Omaha, Nebraska, southwestward across Kansas, clear down into the Panhandle just south of Dalhart, and curves back to the northwest along the Rockies in Colorado. Preceding that cold front moving in from the north is a cold type occlusion moving through East Texas at the present time. This front is past Dallas, east of Fort Worth, extends on down to near San Antonio, swings southwestward into a low-pressure center in Old Mexico. As the front continues moving eastward today, the present shower activity will dissipate, and the clearing trend will set in with the winds coming from the west and later from the northwest. Farther to the west, we have a high-pressure area building in over Nevada, and as that high builds and the low-pressure area moves out, we will have improving conditions tomorrow. Let's pause now to hear this message.
This is a direct appeal to more than 130,000 leading gas stations that proudly display the familiar bright yellow ANCO windshield wiper service cabinet. And it may interest you, too. Highway authorities now are convinced that about 7 out of 10 cars in America have dead wiper blades that can't stop streaking. Streaking dims vision, causes eye strain, forces abnormal traffic slowdown. Authorities claim that you at the gas pump can do most to correct this serious drag on storm traffic. So please help relieve much time-wasting, fender-bending traffic congestion. As each car comes up for gas, simply have ready the pair of fresh new ANCO wiper blades or refills that the car needs for clear vision. Hand them to the driver with their box. Let him look at them while you service the car. Then tell the driver you can install them in mere seconds. Time-saving, nerve-resting ANCO service brings car owners back for more, makes your boss happier, makes your job a better one.
It's snowing in Kansas in the northwest corner of the state, also in Nebraska and parts of Colorado. The cold air moving southward will affect us in about 20 to 24 hours. Let's check now some of the temperatures and weather across the state. El Paso clear and 42, Wink clear 46, Lubbock high scattered and 43, Mineral Wells broken clouds at 2,000 feet, rain shower activity, temperature 53. Greater Southwest has broken clouds with very light rain, temperature 56. Dallas has overcast, very light rain, temperature 55. San Antonio overcast, temperature 59. Austin has a rain shower, temperature 58. College Station is overcast, with 1.5 miles visibility with a heavy rain shower, temperature 52. Corpus Christi, high broken clouds, temperature 76. Brownsville, high scattered clouds, temperature 75 degrees. Now for the forecast. Mostly cloudy and cooler today and tonight, partly cloudy and mild Saturday. Scattered showers today and early tonight. High both days in the upper 60s, the low tonight in the mid 40s. The wind northwesterly 10 to 20 miles per hour, diminishing tonight, light and variable on Saturday. This is Frank McHenry saying have a nice day.
Thank you, Mac. Each morning, Monday through Saturday, here's Southwest weather. And now stay tuned for Don Gardner.